Hi, hi, Quenty. Don, greetings. Happy New Year in advance, Yannick Acha. Greetings, 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 greetings. How you all doing this morning? And thank you, bro. Thank you, bro. Happy New Year to you as well. Happy New Year to you as well. Thank you so much. Uh, I know it's. I want to thank all of you that are tuned in. If you're here in the United States or anywhere in the United States, I want to thank you for tuning in. And our brothers in Europe, uh, Britain, France, Germany, Switzerland, whatever you are in Europe, those in those in Asia, China, South Korea, elsewhere. I know, I understand, but it is expected. But it depends how we navigate through those confusion. But however, we are together in one spirit. Um, I want to take a moment to thank our brothers and sisters in Ground Zero. I want to take a moment to thank our Amber defense system that are working relentlessly to help secure our homeland. Hello, Ojon. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for joining in. Thank you. It is quite amazing, and we understand that we are about to transition to the year 2019. But I want to take my sincere thanks to our brothers at Ground Zero for the relentless effort that they are using to ensure that the land of the people of Southern Cameroon can once again think of a land they own, the land they believe that belongs to them, rather than the land that belongs to an occupier. But I want to take a moment to thank all of you that are tuned in, and for those who will still be joining us in this discussion. Uh, but anyway, you know, there is a problem with the people of Southern Cameroon because when the world community turn a blind eye because of the corruptions, and so corruption is the key, is the problem that is affecting our people, not only our people, but the world at large. The world at large cannot feel the freedom they deserve, because human beings on this planet Earth that we call Earth are in a transition process from one destination to the next destination. That is, when you are born, you have an end destination. And that destination is when you die or when you call, depending on what philosophy or Christianity that you share. But it comes to a point where people become a certain key decision making, and they choose to stand for the wrong decision rather than for the true decisions. And that is the case like the current United Nations Secretary General. This is the individual that you are watching. This is the United Nations Secretary General, the most current corrupted officials on this planet, the most corrupted officials on this planet. Our people, the Southern Cameroon, do not deserve the way they've been treated because corruption has superseded the will of the people to make decisions. And that when you choose a certain individual to be at the helm of the United Nations, instead of standing and speak the truth, they choose the wrong. And that is the person, Antonio Guterres, at the helm of the United Nations. And because the corrupted individuals like Paul Biya, who is the architect of corruption, he gives package. That is why this guy you see here, his current representative at La Republique du Cameroun is living on two salaries, one paid by the United Nations and another salary paid by La Republique. And that is why the truth are not being spoken. They scourge out the truth because of personal egoistic interests rather than stand. The people of Southern Cameroon is not an ethnic. I want to clarify this because I have spoken this before. I have talked about it several times. The people of Southern Cameroon is not a separatist. There is a word that people often confuse. And because of the confusion, that is why they misled the world about the word they use. There is a difference between a separatist and a separatist or a secessionist. From the actual word, does it fit the language in which they use? If the people of Western Province, the people of Littoral, the people of Grand North, they choose to leave La Republique. Give me a minute. Okay, sorry. When Western Province or Littoral Province choose to leave La Republique, that is a secession because they're seceding from the original document that they tabled at the United Nations. When La Republique in 1960 tabled a document of the La Republique, because La Republique was a name that was tabled, the people of Southern Cameroon was not part of that document. When the Southern Cameroon, under the British administration, tabled at the United Nations, La Republique was not part of the document. So there are two separate lists. So if the people of Southern Cameroon choose to leave La Republique, that is not secession because the original agreement that they both choose to come to live together was a common understanding. It was not a conquer. It was not a colonial territory. It was neither of them both. So, but if La Republique, if Western Province choose to leave La Republique, or if Littoral choose to leave La Republique, that is a secession because they were originally part of La Republique. And so if the world community misconstrued, spoke the wrong word, utilized the wrong word for the wrong reason. But however, let's listen to this individual. That's La Republique president. And he was speaking in Boya. Let's listen for him.
That's not correct. That Boya was the headquarters of West Cameroon. History has not forgotten that Boya was the capital of Southern Cameroons.
Boya was the capital of Southern Cameroon. What happened? If Boya was the capital of Southern Cameroon, and that history has not been forgotten, but I want to let you know that history has been forgotten. Southern Cameroon is not is not part of La Republique. Southern Cameroon is a nation. Southern Cameroon has declared its intention and has promulgated that the fact that we choose to collaborate, that we can live together, doesn't give La Republique an authority or supremacy over the people of Southern Cameroon. You listen to what he says. Southern Cameroon has never been forgotten. That Southern Cameroon Boya was the capital of Southern Cameroon. And then what relationship do we have with La Republique? What relationship? There is absolutely no document that indicate that La Republique is a part of Southern Cameroon. The document that was tabled at the United Nations when La Republique was fighting for their sovereignty was a separate. Southern Cameroon wasn't part of that document. But today, we have our brothers and sisters that are being murdered indiscriminately and that are being shot down, and because we invite an individual to our home. Fellow brothers and sisters, we are at war. The enemy is penetrating us, but I can assure you that the year 2019 is going to be a devastating year. We are let La Republique military that are being sent to the Southern Cameroon territory, that we have determined we will no longer be succumbed to La Republique. And so if you know that you are La Republique soldier and you have been assigned, you have a choice to decide, because the year 2019 will be the year of Waterloo, the year of no return, the year of anyone that stepped into the Southern Cameroon in the name of La Republique military shall return in different format. We can assure you that any La Republique that is entering the Southern Cameroon will be returned in different format, because we have got enough of La Republique. This is the document. This is the document that voted overwhelmingly at the United Nations. 64 nations voted overwhelmingly in 1961, recognizing the sovereignty of the people of Southern Cameroon as a sovereign nation. 64 nations, 23 voted against the Southern Cameroon, 23 voted against, and 10 abstained. 10 abstained. So if you combine those who vote against and the 10 that abstain, overwhelmingly they recognize us as a sovereign nation. Why must we have to go into war and be fighting? By default, the world community ought to respect the will of the people of Southern Cameroon, that the people have chosen their own destination, and that we have no choice, no obligation than to recognize them as a people. There is a clause at the United Nations that even if you are part of, lest there is an evidence that the people of Littoral, that there is an ample evidence that they are undergoing persecution by La Republique, they have a choice to seek for freedom. The people of Littoral, the people of Western Province, as an ending, they believe that there is ample evidence of violations. And they have that clause to be respected at the United Nations. But in our case, we are already a nation, just equally as La Republique du Cameroun. But yet, the world turned a blind eye and failed in absolute terms to recognize that the people of Southern Cameroon deserve their own freedom. But that is why I am assure you that the people of Southern Cameroon and those in Ground Zero, those in Manime, Manfe, Boya, Fako, Victoria, Ndonga Mountain Division, Ngoketunjia, Bali, Mezam, Bafut, Bali, Oban Gemba, the entire Southern Cameroon territory, we are at war, fellow brothers and sisters. We need to stand for our victory. We need to stand to prevent our enemy thinks that they are too smart. But this is the year that we got, year 2019. It's an odd year for any enemy that is penetrating into the Southern Cameroon territory. The year 2019 is an odd year. It's an odd year for any enemy that will be penetrating into the Southern Cameroon territory. There are certain individuals. There are certain individuals that are partaking in the system. And they're even here in the United States. They are among us. They even eat with us. And they would eat dinner with us. But the fact is that even though they are here in the United States or they're in Europe, they understand the truth. This nation, before it's what it is today, is because a 13 states in this, what is become known as the United States, 13 states stood against Britain. 13 states stood against Britain. It's over 51 or 50 states in this great nation. But 13 out of those states stood against Great Britain. So it's not by the majority of the population. It's by the people that have a goodwill intention. All for the will of the people. It's not about the population. It's about the people that have a good intention. And that is why 13 states in the United States stood against the Britain. No taxation without a representative. That was the key message given to Britain. No taxation without a representative. So no taxation without a representative was the message to the people of Britain as an occupier. So La Republique, an occupier in the Southern Cameroon territory. There are certain individuals within us that are eating in the plate of La Republique. They are here in the United States. They surround us. They live with us. They are at distant level. They undermine the truth of the people because they choose to have a dinner with La Republique and ignore the fundamental truth. But they're physically here in the United States. And if you ask them, they are so proud to be in this United States. But they failed, even though some of them took classes here in the United States, or in Britain, or in France, or in Germany. They learn about the historical, factual information, but they ignore that information. That is why when you are here in the United States, the first thing they ask you to take the government, U.S. government, they ask you to take U.S. history. The purpose of that is to educate you to understand how the United States become what it is today. They want you to understand how the United States become what it is today. It's because they sacrificed 13 states in this great nation, sacrificed for what it is today. So it's not by the majority of the people, but by the people that have the goodwill intentions and to free and unfreeze the people from the enslavement of the slavery. And that is why I am here letting you know that the people of Southern Cameroon has loosened the chain of execution, the chain of embarrassment, the chain of a perpetrator, and that the Southern Cameroon has breaking that chain, and that they are steering towards their freedom that must not last. Let's listen to what United States representative talk about.
There's tremendous interest within all branches of the U.S. government towards this crisis. The United States is greatly concerned with what's going on in Canada. I mean, we consider Cameroon a long-term friend. We consider it essential for the stability in that region of Africa. As we all know, Cameroon has tremendous potential. It has phenomenal natural resources, has a highly educated, industrious, entrepreneurial population. It can easily rocket forward in progress and prosperity and stability. So because of that, the United States is greatly concerned with events here. And the frustrating thing is a lot of this was useless. As I said, we all know the history, we all know where this is coming from. The Anglophone population of Cameroon would very much like to be considered as first-class citizens. There was a sense that they feel like they have felt a long time like they're second-class citizens. It is up to dialogue and to dialogue to move this process forward. There's tremendous interest within all branches of the.
That's the United States representative speaking about the ongoing crisis in Southern Cameroon. He simply speaks the truth. Our people, let's look back again. Let's look back. He said, we all know the history. He's simply referring to the vote at the United Nations because the United States voted in 1961 as one of the key members that recognizing the people of Southern Cameroon as a sovereign nation. So United States voted. France, the key architect of destruction of Africa continent, France voted. In fact, France collided with French colony to vote against Southern Cameroon. So because if you look at the list of the countries that voted, you will realize that all the French colony in Africa voted against the Southern Cameroon because of the harsh plan. You all listen to the U.S. representative, what he said. They have a phenomenal material, raw material in Southern Cameroon. And that is why France, in a harsh plan to colonize Southern Cameroon and take so that they can harvest the property and to the French hegemony. You all know the Sonora. You remember that a few weeks ago or month ago, there was a riot in France because there was an increase in price because we used to offer free oil that goes to France. But because of our fight for our freedom, that oil no longer go to France. Now that is why the demonstration occurred in France. Look, our Africa must stand for freedom. Africa must stand for freedom. France has been the key architect of destruction of African development. And that is why Africa is backwards. Why must Africa be ruled by France? France needs to concentrate on its own territory and allow the people of Southern Cameroon to determine their future, their destiny. Fellow brothers and sisters, I know there are people we call the blacklegs. We know that there are them among us, but they will never overthrow us because determine the spirit of togetherness. We shall overcome. There is an important, before I proceed, let's first of all look at this again. Let's look at this. That is the map that was presented to La Republique president. That there are two nations that the world recognized. There are two nations the world recognized. Let's look at this. This is the map of Southern Cameroon, and this is the map of La Republique. This was presented to La Republique. Let's look. This two map was presented to La Republique by the United Nations representative. Recognize that United Nations recognize that there are two nations that exist. The fact that we are choose to cohabiting with La Republic doesn't give La Republic supremacy over the Southern Cameroon. That was a recent map that was presented to La Republic president. It indicates that the fact that the world recognizes that they are joined together for mobilization doesn't give La Republic authority or supremacy over the people of Southern Cameroon. And that is why the United Nations present this map. And it seems mentally incoherent and mentally challenged and mentally not aware of the reality. And that is why we have a certain individual among us. And some happen to be a minister at one time. And they are here in the United States. They turn a blind eye. They want to take advantage of the U.S. justice system and fails in absolute. Some of them are among us. Some of them are living with us. They want to take advantage of the U.S. justice system because they were part of the corrupt system. They were part of the corrupt system. And that they don't want to stand for the truth. And they're from Southern Cameroon. They ignore the fundamental truth. They don't want to stand and speak the truth because they were part of the defunct system. And then they're physically here in the United States. They surround us. They live with us. But they don't want to speak the truth. But I am here to tell them that the people of Southern Cameroon must be free. We will never succumb to that individuals that they are living here in the United States. They turn a blind eye. They turn a blind eye as though they are not aware because they were part of the system. They were part of the corrupt system that they don't want to stand and speak the truth. But I'm here to let the world know that the people of Southern Cameroon, the year 2019 shall be a root year for any La Republic military that will be heading towards Southern Cameroon. Any member of La Republic, if you have been assigned that you are heading to Southern Cameroon, prepare your will. You leave it before heading to Southern Cameroon. If you are a member of La Republic military and you are heading to Southern Cameroon, prepare your will and leave to your family before you head to the Southern Cameroon. Because it's going to be a very rude year. We can assure you, our people have got enough. Our people deserve their own freedom. And we have come to the moment. So if you are a member of La Republic military and you have been assigned, you either take those who assign you down or you head to Cameroon. You prepare your will before coming to Southern Cameroon because it's going to be a rude period to navigate in Southern Cameroon. If they assign you, you have a choice because either way you're going to be gone forever. If you have been assigned by La Republic military to head towards Southern Cameroon, take this message critically clear. Either you take the person who assigned you, let him leave before you, and you terminate him or her, or you sign your will and leave it in La Republic before heading towards Southern Cameroon. Because either way, that's the choice you must get. So I am serious about this. I am serious. This message is for La Republic military. That any individual that assign you, giving you power, you have a choice. The choice to terminate the person that he is sending you into a dead mouth of a lion, or you terminate that individual right there in his office. Otherwise, you sign your will and leave it there to your family. Because 2019 is the year of never return to La Republic if you are heading that way. Fellow brothers and sisters, since the world turned a blind eye, we're going to open their eye and let them that we were not going to be succumbed to that. This is the spirit of the people. This is the spirit of the people. But I want to give this warning message to those before. I want to give this message before I proceed to other details. There are certain women. There are certain women in Southern Cameroon. There are certain women in Southern Cameroon that La Republic is using for a shield. There are certain women in Southern Cameroon that the military are using for a shield. They are dating them. And they're using them to pick up information about the people of Southern Cameroon defense system. We know where you are. We know you as an individual. But warning to you, if you are a woman and you are dealing with alcohol, we don't decide who is your choice or to have to love or to decide. We don't decide that. It's you up to you as an individual. But when they are using you as a source of information against the people of Southern Cameroon defense system, then you become the enemy of the state of Southern Cameroon. I hope you get it. The people of Southern Cameroon doesn't interfere of individual liberty, whom they love, whom they like, whom they deal with. The people of Southern Cameroon doesn't interfere on that. You have the freedom, the liberty to date and marry whoever you choose to. But when you become a source of information to the enemy about the people of Southern Cameroon determination, then we classify you as an enemy to the state of the people of Southern Cameroon. So if you have listened to this message, the message goes to the women that they are using, La Republique is using. Money is a source of enemy. Money is a source of disease. Money is a source, but when you choose it without carefully thinking about how you utilize it, then you might end up being the payer of that. So therefore, women, our people doesn't determine how you be loved. But however, our people is concerned when the army of La Republique is utilizing you against the people of Southern Cameroon. Another incident that I wanted to talk about is that the taxi driver, that La Republique is using taxi driver in Southern Cameroon. So if you meet 3 or 4 able-bodied at night and you're a taxi driver, do not pick them up because they are La Republique military. If you see 2, 3 able-bodied standing together as civilians, then they are La Republique agents that are filtrating the Southern Cameroon. So because they are afraid to put on their uniform, they have chosen another method. They have chosen another method. If you have La Republique agent that you see 2, 3 able-bodied in a car and they're driving and they're breaking you, stopping you as a taxi driver, they are La Republique agent military that are now being scared. They're using dress like a civilian and heading to monitor the Southern Cameroon defense system. So if you notice any of them in your car, immediately alert the armor boys because they're gonna pick them right away and take them to the land of no return. So fellow brothers, fellow taxi drivers, if you see any of La Republique, 3 or 4 of them in one spot asking to go to a particular destination, alert them armor boys immediately so that they will go to a land of no return. Our people have got enough of La Republique. We have got enough. So I assure you that the year of 2019 is an odd year. The odd year for those who have chosen to leave La Republique. So I am letting La Republique military take this message clear and clear. For those who assign you in Southern Cameroon, they are in their office. They are with their wife. They are with their children. They assign you to leave your own children to come to the Southern Cameroon. But I have a good news for those who are coming for the year 2019. Because those who assign you, they can even walk, they can even speak. They are old. But they think they can conquer the people of Southern Cameroon. But I have a good news for them. There are 2 things. You are heading to a world of no return, the Southern Cameroon. You are heading to the world of no return, the Southern Cameroon. But I can assure you, you have 2 choices. 1, you will never return. And 2, you have a choice to eliminate the person that assigned you in La Republique. Because that is where you're going to survive. Otherwise, you will never return. So you either eliminate the person that assigned you in the Southern Cameroon territory, because that is the way moving forward. Because if you don't engage that individual, because he's with his wife, while you're in Southern Cameroon, you never been sure when you're going to return. Because the Southern Cameroon are fighting for their independence, their freedom to live as a people. But if you have been chosen to head to Southern Cameroon, you have the first choice. Eliminate that individual that assign you. Otherwise, you have a choice. Because either you leave your will, you sign your will to your family that I am heading to the land of no return. Because either you have choice, you eliminate that particular individual that assign you to head to Southern Cameroon, or you give your will to your family. Because there are two things. 2019 is a decisive year for the people of Southern Cameroon. 2019 is the decisive year. So you must have two documents ready. One, you eliminate the person who assigned you to Southern Cameroon, or you sign your will and leave it to your family what they need to do as you head towards Southern Cameroon. Because the spirit of the people of Southern Cameroon shall stand for the Southern Cameroon and the Southern Cameroon alone. We have got enough of this grudge. Our people deserve their freedom. They deserve to live their life. If you got married to a wife and you realize that the spirit that brought you together no longer exists, you have a choice to say, okay, let's separate, because that's the way to move forward. But if you choose that you're going to persuade, that you're going to force that individual, then that's where you're heading towards a collusion. Because it will reach a point of resistance. And the point of resistance, they're going to face you squarely. So La Republique military that is preparing to head towards Southern Cameroon. I have a good news for you. You choose one thing only. Sign your will and leave to your family before you head to Southern Cameroon. Or you eliminate that individual that assigned you. Because that is the only way moving forward. Yes, you eliminate that person. Because the person that is sending you is living with a wife, is living with the children, is heading for Vomeka. He's heading from Vomeka. He's heading for Betis. He's living there and watching you how we are going to eliminate you. Because 2019 is going to be a decisive year for the people of Southern Cameroon against any individual that is penetrating into the Southern Cameroon territory. We got enough of you. Our people has long seek for freedom. Our people has long seek for freedom. And that is the freedom that you're going to watch as our people heading toward it. That's our people. That's our people back home. They are seeking for freedom. Freedom that belongs to them. That is them. Even in the midst of the forest, they stand for freedom. But we have a certain republic that we invite in our home, and they turn to frustrate us against our goodwill. Fellow brothers and sisters, for those individuals that are among us here in the United States, that are in Britain, because they were once part of the system that they defraud, and now they are here in the United States. Some even have the audacity to use the legal system here in the United States because they ignore the fundamental fact. They ignore the fundamental fact about the people of Southern Cameroon. They turn a blind eye over the truth. But we are here to expose some of them because they have a choice. Because they utilize the funds that were supposed to serve many Southern Cameroon, but they use it for their personal interest. And some of them were being sponsored here in the United States. Remember, the United States fought against its freedom. The United States stood for no taxation without a representative. That was the philosophy of the people of the United States. They fought against the freedom. And that is why we have the audacity to come here and ignore the fundamental freedom that is existent in the Southern Cameroon. And they have the audacity to tell trash because they think they can utilize the United States justice system. United States justice system is not for sale. United States system that I know is not for sale. United States justice system is the most best justice system on this planet. If you have ever attended a judge in front of a judge here in the United States, then you can testify. United States justice system is not for sale. And so therefore, I am speaking to those individuals that have chosen to ignore the fundamental truth and they believe that they can utilize the United States justice system for their advantage. But I have a good news for those individuals, that the people of Southern Cameroon will not succumb to your derogatory. Our people has long overdue for freedom. Our people has long overdue for freedom. And that is the freedom that we must stand together. And that there are enemies, just like the United States, 13 states in this wonderful nation fought against the British, no taxation without a representative. And so too, there were some black legs that existed during that period of United States, 13 states, seeking for total freedom. There were some black legs. So too, we have black legs within our midst. But the black legs can never succumb to our freedom because our freedom must overcome the black legs. The black legs. We have them among us. We have dinner with them. They eat among us. Some even try to use the United States justice system and tell the wrong from the truth. But we must expose some of them that we are not, Southern Cameroon is not for sale. Just as the United States wasn't for sale for the British. Fellow brothers and sisters, we are at war. We are at war. We are at war. From the land of no return. That is Southern Cameroon being tortured by a terrorist government of La Republique. And yet we have those black legs individuals. They fail to acknowledge the truth. That is Southern Cameroon being tortured by the neighboring country, La Republique du Cameroun. That's the people we invite to our home. We invite them. We invite them. That is our brother. That is our brother. That's being tortured by a terrorist government of La Republique. And there are certain individuals amongst us. They ignore the fundamental truth. They ignore the fundamental history. United States representatives, let me bring back the message. Pay attention. Listen to this message again.
We consider Cameroon a long-term friend. We consider it essential for the stability in that region of Africa. We all know Cameroon has tremendous potential. It has phenomenal natural resources, has a highly educated, industrious, entrepreneurial population. It can easily rocket forward in progress and prosperity and stability. So because of that, the United States is greatly concerned with events there. And the frustrating thing is a lot of this was needless. As I said, we all know the history, we all know where this is coming from. The Anglophone population of Cameroon would very much like to be considered as first-class citizens. There were citizens that they feel like they have felt a long time like they're second-class citizens. It is up to dialogue and through dialogue to move this process forward. There's tremendous interest within all. Right?
That is the United States representative. He's spoken the truth. Our people are intelligent. Our people are well educated. Our people are excellent. But yet, they are taking advantage of us. And they have a certain individual that they want to take advantages of the United States justice system and ignore the fundamental truth because they were part of the system that caused the atrocity. But however, their motive will never overcome the will of the people. The will of the people must supersede. Fellow brothers, we are at war. Let's. This is Southern Cameroon. Demonstrate for freedom. Demonstrate their unwillingness to support the Southern Cameroon. That is the Southern Cameroon. That's the last Independence Day, 1st of October. That was a demonstration. The people of Southern Cameroon, the people in their land, the people at home that are seeking freedom. Freedom is what the people are seeking for. That is the October 1st celebration. They all are aligned in the forest to celebrate the October 1st as an Independence Day of the people of Southern Cameroon. Those the black layers among us, they ignore the fundamental truth that the people dress massively to seek their freedom. And that is what it stood for. It's not about our own personal interest, but the will of the people to stand for their freedom. I am here standing with the people back home because their freedom is what matters at this time. It's not about you. It's not about I. It's about the people seeking for lasting freedom. That is the October 1st demonstration that the people stand for freedom. And that is the rally that was held. That is the people seeking freedom. And we want to ignore the freedom of the people because we have our own personal egoistic mind. But I am here to assure you that the people of Southern Cameroon have long overdue for freedom. That their freedom must come. It must come with the spirit. We are not going to take wrong from the world community that has failed to speak up. That is the population you can all watch. They stood firmly.
Destroy the ships.
That is the spirit of the people, that they need freedom. They need freedom to live, freedom to have their will, freedom to have their voice heard, freedom to live as people. The freedom. And that the demonstration has been all over. This is a great example. That is in the UK. That is in the United Kingdom. The people are demonstrating because they need freedom. And that is why elsewhere around the world, the people of Southern Cameroon for their freedom has long overdue. But the world has turned a blind eye. But I am here to let you know that 2019 is going to be a good year for land for those who are heading to Southern Cameroon. Fellow brothers and sisters, we are at war. The enemy is at large, but we're not going to succumb to the enemy. So for those who are heading to the Southern Cameroon, I can assure you.
So the rights of everyone in the Commonwealth is that I have been down. I'm not sure whether it was with any of you here.
He's speaking about the Commonwealth. I will expect, like any other country, that it's because of the people of Southern Cameroon that the Commonwealth of Nations extend an olive branch to La Republique. It's because of the people of Southern Cameroon that the Commonwealth of Nations extend the olive branch to La Republique. And the people of Southern Cameroon has spoken. They have told the world community, especially the UK government, that they no longer be part of this system. And I would expect the UK government to terminate the olive branch that they have extended to La Republique. I expect the UK government to terminate the olive branch they have extended to La Republique and terminate that relationship. But they still have a good news because they think of the gas. As you listen to the United States representative spoken about the tremendous raw material in Southern Cameroon. And that is why it will be more easier for the British Crown, for the British government to deal with La Republique than the Southern Cameroon. And that is why they remain silent as though nothing is happening. Fellow brothers and sisters, you all know the history of the United States. No taxation without a representative. It happened that UK was involved for these great nations. But the United States stood firmly. No taxation without a representative. That was the United States philosophy. 13 states stood for their freedom and they achieved it. We have many states, many cities here in the United States that have long recognized our people. We all need to show that tremendous effort. That is the city of Lowell, here in the United States. They recognize the people of Southern Cameroon, here in the United States. Listen to.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I just wanted to thank you to take that motion out of order. On May 2nd, I made a motion to support a resolution of the Southern Cameroon community in New England in its desire to restore its national sovereignty. And City Solicitor Christine O'Connor prepared the vote of this resolution, which passed unanimously. And it was presented to the government, and through Lang would like to address the council and thank the council for what they have done.
Mr. Mayor, City Councilor, City Manager, the wonderful people of God. My name is Drew Kimbeck. I bring greetings from King Angwaso, Church of Manton, whom is an honorable member of this council, and the people of Famila, our sister city. We are very thankful of the unanimous resolution that you passed condemning the human rights abuse in the Southern Cameroon. The governing council of Southern Cameroon sent a thank you letter. We actually sent an email directly mayor, and also it gave us a copy. So we would like to read the thank you letter to the council and the people of Lowell. Here, standing on my right is George Polon, the president of the Cameroonians of Lowell Association, and my love is Patrick Macron, and we have myself through the people of the
That is the city of Lowell, here in the United States. They voted overwhelmingly recognizing the people of Southern Cameroon as a sovereign nation. If a city in the state of the United States is so brilliant, overwhelmingly recognizing the nation of the Southern Cameroon, and I expect the United States government that has been working tremendously to do the same, recognizing the people of Southern Cameroon. United States is not United States. In fact, those are the list of the nations that voted to recognizing the sovereignty of the people of Southern Cameroon. So United States in 1961 were among the 64 nations that voted to recognizing the sovereignty of the people of Southern Cameroon. So if the city of Lowell in the United States voted in a city council overwhelmingly, as you listen, the city voted overwhelmingly, recognizing the people of Southern Cameroon as a nation and sent a motion of support for the sovereignty of the people of Southern Cameroon. But I am here to let the world know that the people of Southern Cameroon has long overdue the sovereignty. They deserve to rule themselves. They deserve a government that represents them. They don't deserve to be treated as such by a terrorist government that is choosing to murder our people. Our people has demonstrated this spirit that they prefer to be ruled by themselves. They don't need La Republique to determine how they should be ruled. In fact, that's the symbol of the Southern Cameroon Police Force. That is the symbol of the Southern Cameroon Police Force. Southern Cameroon has enjoyed tremendous democratic government prior to joining this terrorist government of La Republique. Southern Cameroon, first the election, Southern Cameroon is the first nation on West Africa to demonstrate a spirit of democratic government. That in fact the people of Southern Cameroon has demonstrated the spirit of democratic government. They demonstrate this by electing the first prime minister, Dr. Endele, and power was transferred. The second prime minister, Jongu Foncha, power was transferred without any fighting. Jongu Jua, that was killed by Ahijo in La Republique. They have demonstrated the spirit of democratic form of government in the entire West Africa region. But yet, nobody seems to recognize it. But instead, people are choosing a terrorist government of La Republique that has never in a single year demonstrated any election a transfer of power. Ahijo was there for 25 years. And this terrorist individual called Pobia is now 36 years. It's going to be 40 years of leadership. But why should our people be ruled by a terrorist government? Why should our people be ruled by a terrorist government? That we are a nation. 64 nations voted overwhelmingly to recognize us as a people. And yet we are not. Yet we are not. Look at the people of Bali. These are our sons and brothers, and sons and daughters. This is our children. This is our people, fellow Southern Cameroon. Are you blind? Are you? We have a certain individual in one of our states file a frivolous lawsuit against the people of Southern Cameroon because they stood for the freedom. That this nation became a free nation because the United States stood for freedom. 13 states fought for freedom. And people turn a blind eye. They don't want to stand up. They want to take advantage of the United States for their own selfish, egoistic advantage. They want to use the system here against their own egoistic system because they turn a blind eye for the plain truth. That is the city. That's the city here in the United States. Voted overwhelmingly. If a city in a foreign nation voted recognized, and the sons and daughters, they turn a blind eye over the plain truth. But I am here to let you know that the people of Southern Cameroon has got enough of that. and that the freedom of the people cannot be determined by any egoistic individual, but by the will of the people. We have the blacklegs among us, but the blacklegs shall not oversuccumb us. But we must stand for freedom. We must stand for our freedom. The very people that I showed you the picture, La Republique went and burned the cops. They burned the cops. And you are telling me that we can live together with La Republique. For God's sake. For God's sake. You are telling me that we shall live together with this terrorist government. No, for Christ's sake. No, you are on the wrong side of the game. You are captaining the wrong vessel. You are headed towards the wrong side. I must use the marine navigation. Fellow brothers and ambassadors, the defense system. I stand together with you for the spirit that you all are demonstrating. I stand together with you, and I assure you that get all my relentless support. Get all my relentless support for what you stood for. We shall overcome. We shall overcome. We know that there is enemy that are among us, but let the enemy not succumb, not overcome our goal. Our goal is to live a lasting freedom of liberty. Liberty in a world that we call us, that we can live free and then be loved. Be loved by all. Be loved by all. This is a British Parliament. This is a British Parliament questioning the existence of La Republique. This is the British Parliament questioning the existence of La Republique. And what is the UK government doing? What is the UK government doing? What is the UK government doing? Let's listen to.
Between displaced whilst being charity protecting approaches, says that 3.3 million are in need of humanitarian assistance. Amnesty reports that 450 to 500 civilians and 185 members of the security services have been killed. UNICEF estimates that 58 schools have been destroyed. 47 political leaders are being held outside. The recent Amnesty report refers to, I quote, arbitrary arrests, torture, unlawful killings, and the destruction of property. The Catholic Bishops' Conference has called it, quote, inhuman, blind, monstrous violence. And of the October election, Archbishop Samuel Cleaver, the president of the Bishops' Conference, says, one has the impression the election results are decided before voting takes place. My Lord, we can all share in these horrendous statistics, but what I want to do is this evening focus on what conclusions we can draw from the United Kingdom's dismal approach to this situation. More than ever, with Britain's potential departure from the European Union, we must seek to define our role in the world. And it would be helpful to know from the Finance Minister whether the human rights issues were assessed before, for instance, the New Age natural gas was announced. What consideration has been given to targeted sectors, and whether this crisis figures in the Foreign Secretary's recent commitment on atrocity prevention. The government mustn't suggest that this is a level playing field conflict in a civil war between equal sides. Too often in the past, in Bosnia, in Rwanda,
You carefully listen to the statement. Two equal partners. Listen to the statement. It's not just watching his face. Listen to the content of his message. Two equal partners. In other words, Southern Cameroon was never a conquered territory of La Republique. Southern Cameroon. We came together. They got their independence in 1960. We got ours in 1961. And therefore, we come together as equal entity. We did not come together as defined by the will of La Republique. We came together as equal entity. But yet, we've been taking advantage of our sincere love over the colonial territory. Fellow brothers and sisters, our spirit of sovereignty, our spirit of nationalism, our spirit, we don't need La Republique in what circumstances. We have enjoyed tremendous independence, tremendous election. First with Dr. Endel, second with Jongun Foncha, third with Ngundwa. There was no fighting. Power was transferred peacefully. And yet, we never have this trouble. Our problem began when we choose to live with this terrorist government of La Republic. Fellow brothers and sisters, we are capable to rule ourselves. We are capable to decide about our future. But we don't need our future being defined by La Republique du Cameroun. We have to define our future. We don't. If you allow terrorists to define your future, then they will obviously convert you to whatever they deem necessary. But I am here to let you know that we will never be converted by a terrorist of La Republique. We will never be converted by a terrorist of La Republique. Fellow brothers and sisters, we are at war. We will no longer succumb to La Republique, but we must stand for our freedom. The freedom of our people lies on us as an individual. There are certain individuals within us, here in the United States and elsewhere. They want to take advantage of the system, but we gotta let them know that that will never persist, because they were once part of the beneficiary of the system, and now they are being disembarked from that system. Now they are filing a frivolous lawsuit because they tend to ignore the factual information. They fail to know the history. They fail because they believe that they will be rewarded just as a Tanganji, the ex-convict. But I am here to let you know that the Amber Boys, when you see any of those that are serving in La Republique, they are a threat to our progress. If you see those individuals that are serving in La Republique, they are a threat to our progress. You know what to do better. You know what to do with them. Because we will no longer be romancing with the system. You know what to do. But we will no longer be romancing with the system. Our entire Jongu function in Enugu House of Assembly and our parliamentarian in Enugu House of Assembly, they terminate the relationship and block and return to Southern Cameroon. And Nigeria did not fight back. The Nigeria did not fight us when our people choose to return to Southern Cameroon. That the government of Nigeria is far away and is giving them tremendous distance to travel, and that they want to be back home. Nigeria did not invade us. Nigeria did not declare war on us. But yet we have a terrorist government that we invite in our home. They are now declaring us unwanted people, using their military in our territory because the world turned a blind eye. But fellow brothers and sisters, we are at war. The enemy can never overcome us. We must overcome our enemy. The spirit of togetherness is what matters for us. To the end stage is the freedom of our people to demonstrate that spirit of freedom. Fellow brothers, we are at war. I don't want to take so much of your time. But I want to let those individuals in La Republique, that if you are a military of La Republique and that you are superior, assign you to Southern Cameroon, you have a choice. Eliminate that individual, because that individual is indirectly eliminating you by sending you to the land of no return. So you have a choice. Either you sign your goodwill and leave it to your family to take care of you when you've gone to the Southern Cameroon, the land of no return, or you have a choice to eliminate that person that assigned you. Because once you eliminate the person that assigned you to the Southern Cameroon, then they will have a threat to even assign another person. But if you choose to come to Southern Cameroon, welcome to the Southern Cameroon, the land of no return. The spirit of the people in 2019 shall be very devastating. Any individual, you have a choice. You have the spirit of your destination. You, the La Republique Army officials, you have the spirit of yours. Once they assign you, you have two choices. One, eliminate the person that assigned you. Two, give your will, write a will and give to your wife, your children, your family, relatives, because La Republique may not announce your death. They may not even recover you because La Republique is not accountable. So you may not even know what happened because they may have forgotten you. Probably they tell you you have been captured. They will never announce you, but you have a choice to decide that individual in that office in that particular time that assign you, your name appear. You have a choice to eliminate him and then your family. They put you in jail, but you have the tendency to survive. You have the tendency to leave. But that person that assigned you is no longer there. But if you choose that you want to respect the order to come to Southern Cameroon, welcome to the land of no return. 2019 is the year of our Lord. For those La Republique, we have asked all of you to degage, to pack your luggage and return and allow the Southern Cameroon territory peacefully, because we are taking a decisive decision for 2019. Fellow brothers, we are at war. There is no time for sacrifices, but a time for freedom fighting. Freedom. Freedom, we get to let the world know we will no longer succumb to this. I want to take a moment to thank all of you that are listening. Make sure you send the message to the highest level so that let them know the position of the people of Southern Cameroon. The Southern Cameroon has determined once and for all. Southern Cameroon. Southern Cameroon. Fellow brothers, I'm going to conclude here. I will conclude here with the spirit of our Southern Cameroon national anthem. National anthem is what brings us together. That brings us as a nation. So that is why I am concluding with the Southern Cameroon national anthem.
But